What is up, guys? It is me, Max, back again with another guitar tutorial, and today we're going to take a look at Neko, the first take only version by Dish. This song isn't just gorgeous as hell, but also super fun to play on guitar because we get to do so many different things here and get to play around with so many different chords. It's really fun to do. So I'm really excited, as you can see, to show you guys how to play this song. First of all, we're going to take a capo and put that onto the first fret on our guitars. We are in standard tuning, and without any further ado, let's jump right in. The intro is already very interesting because we get to play around with some very unusual chords. The first one being a D♯ 2. We place our first finger, which is the index finger, on the 3rd fret on the 3rd string, and our 3rd finger on the 4th fret on the 2nd string. And usually we would also place our 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 1st string in order to play a regular D sharp, which is something you can actually do here. But I recommend playing the D♯ 2, so not using that 2nd finger, because that sounds a lot more like what the piano is playing in the intro of the song. When we get back to this part, because that's a recurring theme in the song, we are going to be playing that regular D sharp. So this is the only point in the song where we are actually going to use this D♯ 2, but for now I recommend doing that. And what we also have to do is mute the 6th and 5th string. So we take our thumb, we wrap around the top of our guitar here and slightly touch that 6th and 5th string. So we don't press down, we just slightly touch them. And now we go down 8 times and an additional 5 times, so 13 times in total, but I recommend counting up until 8 and then starting over again. So it's and now we get to our second unusual chord, which is an A sharp 9th. That sounds an awfully lot complicated, but it's like the easiest chord in the entire song, because all we have to do here is take our 3rd finger and place it on the 4th fret on the 1st string. And now in addition to that, we have to mute the 6th string using our thumb, so we touch that 6th string slightly from the side and we go down once. The chord that it stems from would be a G sharp, so we would place our 1st finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string and our 2nd finger on the 4th fret on the 6th string, but we don't have to do that here. It's just that 3rd finger and a couple of empty strings. So the intro sounds like this. Just like that. Sounds a bit off when you just play it by yourself, but when you play along to the song, you will see that it's spot on. So now let's take a look at the verse, and in the verse we kick things off with an actual D sharp this time. We've got our 1st finger on the 3rd fret on the 3rd string, 3rd finger on the 4th fret on the 2nd string, and 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And now we have to take our thumb again, wrap around the top of our guitar neck and mute that 6th and 5th string. We follow it up with an A sharp. We've got our 1st finger on the 3rd fret on the 4th string, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 3rd string, and 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. And this time around, we only have to mute the 6th string, so we take our thumb and touch that 6th string from the side. So we go D sharp, A sharp, now G minor, 1st finger across all 6 strings on the 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the 5th string, and pinky on the 5th fret on the 4th string. And right next to it, we followed up with a C minor. We've got our 1st finger from the 5th down to the 1st string on that 3rd fret now, so not on the 6th string. We've got our 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the 4th string, pinky on the 5th fret on the 3rd string, and 2nd finger on the 4th fret on the 2nd string. And once again, we have to mute that 6th string, and this time around, we do it by slightly touching that string with the tip of our index finger over here. So we've got D sharp, A sharp, G minor, C minor, now G sharp, first finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string, second finger on the 4th fret on the 6th string, and third finger on the 4th fret on the 1st string. And then we go back to the A sharp. So we go hold that G sharp, and then we go on to that A sharp. And if you want to, you can go down a couple of times on that A sharp. Then we play it again with a slight difference, because once again we go D sharp, A sharp, G minor, C minor, now G sharp, but not for as long as before, because then we go on to the A sharp, and back onto the D sharp. We go down 5 times, mute the strings, and go down once on our old friend, the A sharp 9th. And that's what we do the second time around, and then we play it another time, and there we go, D sharp, A sharp, G minor, C minor, G sharp, A sharp, D sharp. And then we get into the pre-chorus. So that was the entire verse. So 3 times, basically the exact same thing, but every time the ending of that riff changes slightly. Once you play that a couple of times, you'll get it down in no time. So let's jump into that pre-chorus. In the pre-chorus, we play around mostly with some familiar chords at this point. We started off with G sharp, follow it up with an A sharp. Now we go D sharp and C minor. So it's then we go G sharp, A sharp as before, but now G minor, C minor. So we go now, the third time around, we change it up again, because we go G sharp, A sharp, G. So that is very similar to the G minor we've played before. So once again, we've got our first finger across all 6 strings here on the 3rd fret, third finger on the 5th fret on the 5th string, pinky on the 5th fret on the 4th string, so as before. But now we also put our second finger onto the 4th fret on the 3rd string. And then we go back to the C minor. So it's and then we go G sharp and F. That looks like an E, but because of that capo, that is in fact an F. We've got our first finger on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, second finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string, and third finger on the 3rd fret on the 4th string. And then we finish that pre-chorus off by jumping onto an A sharp, and we go down 6 times. Like that. So the entire pre-chorus sounds like this. And then we get into the chorus. So far, we've pretty much only went down once on each chord, but that is about to change in this chorus. We're going to start off by taking a look at the chords that we're going to use here, but afterwards, we're going to get to the rhythm. And this rhythm that we learn in this chorus will actually be sticking around for pretty much the entire rest of the song, because the verse, the pre-chorus, everything that follows this first chorus will be played in the chorus rhythm. So that is very, very important. But for now, let's take a look at those chords. We kick things off with a D sharp. Then we go on to an A sharp, G G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Now F minor, which is basically an E minor for us. Thanks to that capo, we've got our second finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string and our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the 4th string. And we follow that one up with an A sharp. So far we've got D sharp, A sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp, F minor, A sharp. And now we go on, D sharp, G minor, C minor, and now we get to another new chord, an A sharp minor 7. We've got our first finger on the 2nd fret on the 2nd string and our second finger on the 3rd fret on the 4th string. Quite strange looking, quite strange sounding, but a very interesting and quite beautiful chord in my opinion, followed up by another D sharp. So far we've got D sharp, A sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp, F minor, A sharp. And then we continue, D sharp, G minor, C minor, A sharp minor 7, D sharp. And now we go back onto a G sharp, G minor, C minor, and now we finish it off by going G, A, and our intro again with that D sharp. So the entire chord progression goes like this. D sharp, A sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, D sharp, F minor, A sharp, D sharp, G minor, C minor, A sharp minor 7, D sharp, G sharp, G minor, C minor, G sharp, A sharp, and D sharp. That is quite a lot to memorize, but I've put them on the screen so you can pause the video at any point in time and just keep practicing and memorizing this chord progression, because in this song we have a lot of different chord progressions. We play around with a lot of the same chords, but we do a lot of different things with them. So practice makes perfect, just take your time and you will get that down, I promise. The actual rhythm we're going to use works like this. So as you can see, it's kind of a two-parter because we're going to keep on playing this one rhythm figure on 2 chords, and then we're going to play it again once we get to the next 2 chords, and so on and so on. What we do on our first chord, which when starting off the chorus is that D sharp, is we go down, 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 and then down, up. So it's just down, 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 up. And something that I recommend doing is on that last up, just already lift off your fingers and move to that next chord shape, because that will make life a lot easier, because obviously this rhythm is played a lot faster in the original song. So once you play that at the original speed, it won't sound off when you just have those empty strings making a sound like once in between chords, because since you're moving so fast, that won't be distracting at all. So it's just like that. And once we get onto our second chord, so after having played down, 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 up, we move, in our case, onto that A sharp and go down, up, down, and down, down, up. So it's down, up, down, 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 up. And that is already the entire rhythm. We go keep on playing the exact same thing. So now we get to a special part because we go down, down, up on our A sharp minor 7 and down, down, up on our D sharp. Then we get onto our G, go back to our usual rhythm, but then once again we have that exception because we go down, down, up, just like on the A sharp minor 7, on that G minor and on the C minor. Just like that. So we only have those two teeny tiny exceptions in the chorus. So the whole thing works like this. Then we get back into the second verse and the second pre-chorus and the second chorus and so on. And we keep on using this rhythm. It always stays the same except for those two tiny exceptions that I just showed you in the chorus. So there's practically only one part left that we have to take a look at, and that is going to be the bridge. This bridge is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful parts of this entire song, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And we kick things off with our C minor. We play our rhythm on that once, once on the A sharp, once on the G, but then we stop short just in front of that last down up. So we go, and then onto an F, and just before that last down, down, up, we move onto another new chord. And once again, this chord is one from the A sharp family because this one is an A sharp 7 sis. So we've got our first finger on the 3rd fret on the 4th string and our 3rd finger on the 4th fret on the 2nd string. And we just finish our riff off here and go down, down, up. So the first half sounds like this. Then we go back onto our C minor. A sharp. And now we get onto our G and we go up until this point, so the first half basically of our riff. And then we jump onto our E and finish that half off, so we go and jump onto our A sharp 7 sis. And just finish it off on that one. So the entire bridge works like this. I think it works a lot better if I just play it slowly instead of just trying to over explain like the switches here, because you just gotta get that timing right. And like, I think like counting too much can kind of ruin the whole feeling that you want to get into here and the feeling that will actually help you get the timing right. So once again, this is the entire thing slowly. That is the entire bridge. But there is one more teeny tiny part that we have to take a look at because I want you guys to be able to play the entire song without any exceptions. So once we've played this bridge, we get back into like the chorus, but into a very minimalistic chorus where we just have this beautiful, soothing piano play the chords very gently. And right at the end of that, before getting into that last big chorus, we have one more chord progression that works like this. So we go F minor, G minor, G sharp, A sharp sevenths, A sharp. We already know all of these chords, but we have to play them like once, and then we get back into that last chorus. And that is the entire song. I hope you guys enjoyed this song as much as I did. Now for me, it's time to edit this video, and I hope that you will have a whole lot of fun playing this song because it is beautiful and it is something so unique and different. You just have to enjoy it. And now, time for the outro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, drop it a thumbs up. Helps me out more than you might think. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere down there. And as always, I hope that I will see you guys next time.